Last October, I did a video of companies you've never heard of. Usually, I never have to go back and make another video of a fallen flag trucking company. However, I found so much more good information that I had to rethink that idea. So here's a history of a company that failed. I'll show you which company I'm talking about, how big they grew to, and what caused their demise. And at the end of the video, I'll tell you who got this company to add to their own operations. But first, leave a comment and tell me where you're watching from. To help YouTube promote my channel, I would appreciate it if you would hit the like button and subscribe. There's a lot of people who still haven't heard about this Trucking History channel. With your help, more viewers can be introduced to what I'm doing here. The company I'm talking about today is Denny Motor Transit Company. Named after its founder, Charles E. Denny, in 1917 in New Albany, Indiana. He had to retire due to ill health in 1926, so his son, Merle S. Denny, took the reins as president. The company remained a local cartage business until 1928, when the first intercity route was launched to Bedford, Indiana, some 60 miles away. Later that same year, service was started to Indianapolis. The headquarters for the company remained in New Albany, Indiana, but the center of operations was at their large terminal in Louisville, at the corner of West Market and 13th Street. It's amazing when you compare this early photograph of the terminal with this one that I found on Google Maps. After all, almost 100 years later, the building still stands. In my research of trucking history, quite a few of the older trucking buildings have been demolished, burned, or whatever. In fact, quite a few over the years have been torn down to make way for expressways close to downtown where the terminals used to be. Oh, by the way, the Louisville Terminal was not the only one. Denny also had facilities in Bedford, Terre Haute, Indianapolis, and Cincinnati. The company made a big acquisition in September of 1932 when Highway Transportation Company was purchased in the northern part of Indiana. Marion, Indiana was made Northern Division headquarters, and it was a 24-hour terminal, with other terminals served out of Marion being Muncie, Fort Wayne, Peru, Anderson, Kokomo, and South Bend. Although I haven't found the word used in the write-ups of Marion, it might be considered as being a breakbulk terminal, since it was open 24 hours a day and had 20 trucks moving through each day. Doesn't sound like many, but this was 1932 when the trucking industry was just getting started. The Marion Terminal was at 639 Lincoln Boulevard and may have been in this building. In 1936, the Indiana Highway Express Incorporated of Indianapolis transferred its operating certificate number 584 to Denny. Purely an interstate route, solely within Indiana, it meant Denny could haul between Fort Wayne and Hammond, and between Marion and South Bend. A little later, Denny established its system northward into Chicago and southward to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Rome, Georgia. Denny was expanding into a large carriers covering routes in 6 states. The company was riding on high times, but that would soon come to an end with a situation no one could foresee. Actually, there were 2 things that caused the demise of the company. Louisville, Kentucky, January 25, 1937. The Ohio River overflowed its banks and rose so high that entire cities along its path were affected. Louisville and Cincinnati were the biggest cities that got major flooding in the downtown areas and heavily industrial sections. The Denny terminals in both cities were flooded and closed. Louisville, where Denny had his largest terminal, was closed for days until the floodwaters receded and people returned to their homes. The damages from the flood, the claims to pay for damaged freight, plus the loss of revenues from the two terminals began to show up on the bottom line. Just when the company was getting back on its feet, employees of the Indianapolis terminal went on strike. Then on July 18, 1937, 40 drivers and warehouse workers at the Marion, Indiana terminal failed to report to work. A meeting was held in Louisville between management and a representative of employees. A deal was worked out, and employees at both Indianapolis and Marion returned to work. Denny Motor Transit filed for reorganization in January of 1938, and this advertisement listed the major assets of the company. Two terminals were owned at Marion and Fort Wayne. The rest were leased. There were 43 trucks, 66 tractors, and 130 trailers in the fleet. The bankruptcy court accepted a plan to purchase the company and reorganize it. Henry DeMaria of Columbus, Ohio, took over as general manager. That name probably isn't familiar to you, but it's important. As promised at the end of the video, I would tell you who got Denny. And here it is. Judge Hamilton of the Federal District Court of Louisville, Kentucky, accepted the bid of Mr. DeMaria. Remember that name? He was also president of Commercial Motor Freight Incorporated of Ohio. The company got the entire assets of Denny Motor Transit Company and took over officially on February 22, 1938. Denny became Commercial Motor Freight Incorporated of Indiana. So there's the story of Denny Motor Transfer, a company in existence for only 21 years, going from one truck to a huge multi-state operation before a flood ruined the company and caused it to be sold. I hope you've enjoyed this video. There are always more to come. Thanks for watching.